Welcome to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. Thank you for joining us. We start the show this week in Silver Spring, where leaders recently gathered for a national conference to end poverty. Lorna Virgili reports.
Falling in the arms of poverty is easy. That's how this woman described her current situation. She lost her job and is now living in an apartment that soon she will not be able to afford. Her testimony described the picture of poverty in Montgomery County during the National Conference on Ending Poverty, where over 300 regional experts and community leaders addressed the challenges of poverty. Keynote speaker was Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett, who narrated his own poverty while growing up.
I was born in abject poverty, one of 13 kids in a 3-room house in the heydays of poverty and Jim Crow in Louisiana. Yet I stand here today, not only as county executive of Montgomery County, but the president of the County Executives of America. That's a long struggle. But the unique thing about that struggle that ties us to this event today is that I've had to go through a lot of challenges in my life. But the challenges that I faced, I didn't face alone. There was always someone there to help.
The all-day conference served to address how the local government can assist with the needs of the 65,000 residents who live in poverty in Montgomery.
We are doing a great deal in Montgomery County, but I can admit we can even do more. And so I have no hesitations of telling people that I look at budgets each and every day and each and every year trying to determine how we can help people. And we have struggles with this, because oftentimes what we do in the short term may not be the things we want to do in the long term. And you have to balance those sources and so forth. But we have to be committed to that.
For every new subdivision, a specified percentage, now 12.5% of all units, must be below market rate affordable. We've adopted policies to aggressively match homeless people with permanent stable housing. In fact, our most recent effort as part of a national campaign called 100,000 Homes, we have now placed 8 chronically homeless, medically vulnerable individuals in housing, and Mark Bertle and A Wider Circle provided the furniture. So let's hear it for A Wider Circle.
The event was organized by A Wider Circle and the county's Office of Community Partnerships. For County Report This Week in Silver Spring, I'm Lorna Virgili.
Here in Montgomery County, the Great Recession has had a negative impact on youth employment, especially for African American and Latino teens. As Susan Kennedy tells us, a recent report highlighting these statistics has county council members asking for more programs to address this growing issue. Susan?
Sonia, here in Montgomery County, there are close to 8,000 young people who are disconnected from work or school. Recently, the County Council asked the Office of Legislative Oversight to look into the types of programs that we're offering here in the county for those young people and where we might need to step up our game. There are close to 170,000 job openings projected for Montgomery County through 2018. State data shows that most of our jobs will require at least a high school diploma. Here in Montgomery County, the number of young people who are disconnected from school and employment is increasing. And to fill those jobs that are coming up in the future, the Council's Office of Legislative Oversight says the county needs to beef up its programs to reconnect those youth to education and jobs.
When we're talking about how, in fact, we make sure that our children go on to have great work careers, it really starts with them being engaged from the very beginning and understanding that whatever their interests are can also be parlayed into what they do in their future and those future careers. And so broadening that beyond the doctor, the lawyer, the accountant, all those typicals that we talk about when it comes to careers, but really broadcasting the fact of the myriad of different things that are out there that also include our trades, where people make a great living and can do great things, and might not also involve college. I mean, we've got to make sure we're providing all of those options for our kids.
Currently, both the county and Montgomery College offer more than a dozen programs that provide training opportunities to at-risk youth. The study found that very few of these programs offer occupational training or target the chronically disconnected youth. The Office of Legislative Oversight report recommends the county form a task force to implement a plan that would create a career pathway system for this at-risk population.
I think the task force will kind of frame for us where we need to center our focus when it really comes to, what some of those new procedures, policies, how we're dictating to our children what these next steps might be so that they can be successful.
In Rockville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
Montgomery County Public School students will have to make up just 2 of the 10 days lost to snow this school year. That's the word this week from the state superintendent. The Maryland Department of Education has approved a 4-day waiver this week, which means MCPS students will make up 2 snow days on Monday, April 21st, also known as Easter Monday, and Friday, June 13th, which will be an early release day and the last day of school for students. June 12th will now be a full day. You can find out more details about the changes to the school calendar on the MCPS website. Montgomery County Council President Craig Rice held his weekly briefing with the media this week, where he discussed a variety of topics, from the budget to the dangers of opiates and the need for state funding for the Avery Road Treatment Center.
We have got to get the message out to our parents and to our community about the risks that continue to exist when it comes from the transition from prescription opioids and opiates to heroin, and the challenges of leaving prescription medications that are unused out. We'll be promoting our prescription take-back program heavily over these next few months to make sure that folks understand leaving these kinds of drugs in your cabinets with children in the house is a danger, and it's a problem waiting to happen. In addition, we need to make sure that we have robust treatment for not only adults, but also especially for our young adults and teens. And that was my conversation with the governor, asking him to support additional funding for Avery Road Treatment Facility. That is a place where we have paid very close attention to on the Health and Human Services Committee in making sure that that facility is brought up to speed.
You can watch the Council President's news briefing in its entirety on the MyMC Media website. The Montgomery County Council will hold 5 budget public hearings on April 8th, 9th, and 10th. You can watch the hearings live on County Cable Montgomery at 7 p.m. on April 8th, and then at 1:30 and 7 on April 9th and April 10th. The hearings will also be streamed live on the county's website. The executive director of Identity was honored by the White House this week as a champion of change for his work with Latino youth in Montgomery County. Diego Uriburu was one of 10 leaders recognized nationally.
It felt great, not just for me, but for everyone who has dedicated years to identity and to the community. Although I am honored, I clearly understand that I was just a recipient of the award on behalf of many other people.
You can find out more about Identity by visiting its website. Between the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement, 40 African American churches were constructed in Montgomery County. Heritage Montgomery has produced a new documentary featuring 5 of these historic church communities. MyMC Media's Valerie Bonk attended the world premiere of the video, where many members of these churches saw the documentary for the first time.
A surprise performance by the stars of the film themselves had the audience on their feet. The long-awaited premiere brought the history of African American churches in Montgomery County to center stage.
We have some people that are almost 100 years old, so they've gone through the whole segregation, integration.
The documentary, titled Community Cornerstones, includes stories from church elders who explain how the church communities developed through the years and how their impact helped shape the county's history.
As folks grow up and get older and move away, you don't have the support for those churches that you once had.
Telling these stories was important to the stars of the documentary.
I would just like for them to know the beginning of how we started as African Americans. That was the center point in the Quincy Orchard community.
Hoping is for the future of the people of Emma Grove, and all of our families will get to know how their families and parents and grandparents and people like me grew up in the church.
County officials said documenting these stories is momentous for the church communities.
Getting it on film, talking to many of the people who were involved while they're still living, and reflecting our rich cultural heritage in Montgomery County and also our spiritual heritage, I think goes hand in glove with the heritage and history of the county and provides a legacy for our young people to follow in the future.
I've always found that keeping in touch with our faith communities is the best way to find out what people are really thinking.
For County Report This Week, I'm Valerie Bonk.
When we come back, over 200 firefighters respond to a 3-alarm fire in Rockville. We'll explain why these students are walking for water at Gaithersburg High. And we'll tell you how you can help the less fortunate and get a free ride. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
April 22nd, take part in the most creative and collaborative day of the year as Montgomery Community Media hosts a day in the life of Montgomery County. On Earth Day, April 22nd, snap a pic or shoot some video and send it to pics@mymcmedia.org. Not long after, your photos and videos will show up on our website and may even show up on our channels. To learn more, visit mymcmedia.org to find out how you can play your part. Mark your calendars, Earth Day, April 22nd, for a day in the life of Montgomery County.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. Over 200 firefighters responded to a massive 3-alarm fire in the early morning hours of April 1st at the Gables Upper Rock, an apartment complex that was under construction and nearly complete in Rockville.
When units arrived on the scene, they had heavy fire conditions coming from the upper floors of a unoccupied building that was under construction. The crews tell me that the building was 90% complete and was expected to open in a couple weeks, but again, when firefighters arrived, they had some pretty heavy fire conditions. They called for some reinforcements. Eventually, about 200 firefighters would arrive on the scene. It took about an hour or so to bring the fire under control and knock down the bulk of the fire. There were no injuries. The building was not occupied.
Officials said the apartment building was a total loss and damage is estimated at somewhere between $15 and $20 million. Firefighters remained at the scene after the blaze to help prepare the site for demolition. Late last month, Montgomery County firefighters were called to the scene of a collapsed retaining wall at Ridgepoint Place and Quince Orchard Road in Gaithersburg. Fortunately, no one was injured, but as a safety precaution, officials closed a portion of Quince Orchard Road and evacuated several nearby residents in the Kentlands community.
We had county emergency personnel on the scene at that time, and we dispatched personnel from our code enforcement and public works divisions to evaluate the situation when they got here. We were informed that 2 residences in close proximity to the wall did need to be evacuated. As a city, of course, we were most concerned about the safety of the residents. That seems to have been taken care of very quickly. The road closure is of some concern, but the only answer we can give to people who are inconvenienced by the road closure right now is that it will reopen when it's safe. So otherwise, there's a process, and we'll follow it until we can get people back where they need to be.
Officials say it may be several weeks before the displaced residents can move back into their homes. With water jugs in hand, students from Gaithersburg High School joined visiting students from Japan in a walk for a good cause. MyMC Media's Valerie Bonk has the story behind their walk for water.
In honor of National Water Day, Gaithersburg High School students have hit the road, joining visiting students from Japan and raising awareness of global water issues.
Okay, are we ready? Let's go. They didn't know each other before their newest service project, but these students and teachers came together for one cause: to give back to those who aren't as fortunate.
We said, wow, wouldn't it be nice for the American students and the Japanese students to do some type of community service or some type of service learning project while they were here. So we came up with the H2O.
80 students visiting Montgomery County on an exchange program from Yokohama Hayato High School in Japan joined Gaithersburg High School students in raising $2,000 for the Maria Auxiliadora School in the Dominican Republic.
In many places, there are children who have to walk for miles to, one, get to school, and also to bring water to their schools. And so this is symbolic today as we walk and carry water, symbolizing other places in the world where running water is not the norm.
So the group marched through Bower Park in Gaithersburg carrying jugs of water in honor of National Water Day, the annual day sponsored by the United Nations to encourage global water awareness. Teachers and mentors for the students hope this cultural partnership opens the door for similar projects in the future.
In Japan, we didn't get much chance to do the volunteering together, so it was a great opportunity for them to think about what like volunteering means.
I think it has been a really good day for the students because they have been able to exchange some cultural experiences, and they did that with an assembly earlier today where there were some performances by the Japanese students as well as the American students.
They learn about how in other countries students don't have water as easily as we do. So it's kind of to get them to experience what it would be like to have to do that.
For County Report This Week, I'm Valerie Bonk.
And now it's time for our weekly transportation report. Tom Pogue joins us with details about Ride-On's annual food drive.
Hi, I'm Tom Pogue, Community Relations Manager for the Department of Transportation. Here's an update from Montgomery County. Ride-On bus passengers can help needy families and ride free by donating canned or non-perishable food during our 27th annual Give and Ride Food Drive. Ride-On will collect donations from Sunday, April 6th through Saturday, April 12th. Food collection bags will be placed near the fare boxes on all Ride-On buses. In addition to non-perishable food, children's items are also needed. Baby formula, toddler food, and juice are especially useful to families in need. Please donate products in unbreakable containers. Food collected through the drive goes to the Manna Food Center, which helped more than 11,000 hungry families last year. Manna continues to see a steady increase in the number of families needing assistance, so your help is badly needed. Many of Manna's clients may appreciate healthful selections such as whole grain pasta and low salt or low sugar foods. For more information on Give and Ride, call 311 or go to the county's website at montgomerycountymd.gov/rideon. We're working to keep you moving compassionately.
When we come back, we'll pay tribute to a local legend at Montgomery College. And some local students chat with an astronaut on the International Space Station. Stay with us. There's a lot more to come when we return right after this. Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. Have you registered to vote? The gubernatorial primary election is coming up on June 24th. During the month of April, volunteers from the Montgomery County Board of Elections will conduct voter registration drives on Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 3 at local libraries in Montgomery County. You can find the schedule for these voter registration drives on the Board of Elections website. Some local students recently spoke with an astronaut as he floated high above their heads. MCPS TV has the story.
Forest Knolls Elementary School students made contact with the International Space Station with a little help from some local ham radio operators.
My husband and I started the Forest Knolls Amateur Radio Club, and we are the only amateur radio club in Montgomery County Public Schools. So we contacted live the International Space Station directly through amateur radio, and we talked to Koichi Wakata, the commander, the current commander of the International Space Station.
Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra.
As the space station passed over the Washington area, students from the school's communication arts program were prepared and poised for this learning opportunity.
And I am ready to take your question.
My name is Grace. How many days of food, water, and air do you have aboard the space station? Over.
Great. We have food stock for several months. And a cargo supply vehicle comes up every few months, so several times a year we have a new supply of food as well. And we recycle air and water, and even if the recycle systems fail on the station, we can still have a supply of air and water for at least for a few months. Over.
My name is Julian. Does each astronaut need to know everything about the International Space Station or just specific things for a job? Over.
Yeah, Julian, the answer is your second thought. Yeah, we cannot know everything about the International Space Station since it is a huge and very complicated complex, and we are trained to perform.
This unique event was something the students are sure to remember.
And thank you. Over.
It was just an experience that you don't get all the time.
it was once in a lifetime, and it would be truly amazing to experience that.
Well, at first, when I heard his voice break through all the fuzz, I was just so excited. I felt like I was going to start laughing hysterically, and I was just shocked. I felt like it was awesome.
A Montgomery College athletics legend recently passed away, and MCTV's Michael Brown has this tribute.
Montgomery College lost a true athletic giant recently when former athletic director, head men's soccer coach, and physical education professor Tom Bickey passed away. Tom was truly one of the founding fathers of athletics here at MC. Tom Bickey spent 37 years teaching and coaching MC student athletes, but it's as a soccer coach where he perhaps left his most indelible mark. And the strange thing is, he never dreamed he'd coach the sport. Soon after he began working at MC, the athletic director came to him with a surprising proposition.
And by the way, you're going to be the head soccer coach. And I went, wow. I said, I don't know a great deal about soccer. Built up the soccer program year after year, got more and more involved with soccer. Spent 37 years coaching soccer.
There were so many success stories in Tom's career at MC, he helped countless students find the right path. But perhaps the one that stands above the rest is MC Athletic Hall of Famer and current Yale University women's head soccer coach, Rudy Meredith.
And I got to where I've gotten today, and he was the foundation of that once I started here at Montgomery College, and that's something that I can never forget as long as I live, and that's why I will love this man to the day I die.
And when Tom retired in 2004, I produced a documentary on his career. Now, he was reluctant to talk about himself, but I did coax this reflection out of him.
I knew going to work, I was going to be doing something. I was going to be contributing to student success.
Tom Bickey devoted his life and career to the thousands of students he taught and coached. 37 years teaching and coaching, 24 years as Rockville Campus Athletic Director, 471 career wins as a soccer coach, which placed him first on the all-time NJCAA list when he retired. And 10 years later, he's still third all-time. He was named National Soccer Coach of the Year in 1997, was inducted into the NJCAA Region 20 Hall of Fame in 2002, and the NJCAA National Soccer Hall of Fame in 2005. And when he retired, the Montgomery College Board of Trustees named him Professor Emeritus and created a scholarship in his name. What an incredible career by a wonderful man. Tom Bickey was truly a legend here at Montgomery College, and he'll be sorely missed. For County Report this week from Montgomery College, I'm Michael Brown.
When we come back, we'll introduce you to our Pet of the Week. And we'll tell you why these Girl Scouts are celebrating in Tacoma Park. Stay with us.
Registration for summer classes at Montgomery College has begun, so now's the best time to sign up for the classes you want when you want them. Register in person at any of our 3 campuses or online anytime, 24 hours a day. Dr. C.K. Chang, MC Professor of Networking and Cybersecurity, has been presented the prestigious 2013 Cyber Award for Education by the Symantec Corporation. The award recognized Dr. Chang for his efforts to raise awareness of the importance of cybersecurity to the next generation of IT leaders. Winter is finally over and spring sports are underway at MC, so come on out, enjoy the weather, and root for the Raptors baseball, softball, and track and field teams. Check out their schedules and more on the web.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. It's time for another Heritage Montgomery Civil War moment. We left off with Confederate Jeb Stuart's raid on Rockville in the summer of 1863. Once the general left Montgomery County, he joined a major battle already in progress. Here's Barbara Grunbaum with more.
During the first 3 days of July 1863, Generals Robert E. Lee and George Meade met at the Battle of Gettysburg. Fierce fighting raged on the land surrounding this little Pennsylvania town. In the end, Meade's army held off Lee and his men, ending their invasion of the North. This 3-day battle resulted in approximately 51,000 American casualties. the most of any battle in the American Civil War. Also in July of that year, African Americans in Maryland began to be recruited into the Union Army. Slaveholders here objected because they wanted compensation for their property. Loyalists were appeased with $300 per person. When black soldiers discovered their pay was less than their white counterparts, recruitment fell dramatically. In the end, more than 8,700 black men from Maryland enlisted in the 6 regiments of the U.S. colored troops. Even though the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed into law in January of 1863, it didn't change things here in Maryland. Only the states that had seceded from the Union had to comply. That meant plantations run on slave labor could continue in our area. This 3-room cabin in Brookville was once a part of William Magruder's plantation. He reportedly owned 19 slaves. Some most likely lived here. After the Civil War, this dwelling continued to be occupied by tenant farmers. Today, it's known as Oakley Cabin African American Museum and Park. On November 13, 1863, a historic speech was delivered.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty. And
Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address not only honored those who lost their lives in that battle, but also helped redefine the purpose of the war. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Barbara Grunbaum.
Barbara will return with another Civil War moment later in the year, this one focusing on Confederate General Jubal Early's raid on Washington during the summer of 1864. Now it's time to meet our Pet of the Week. Kathy Stanhope joins us from the Humane Society with more.
This is Kathy Stanhope with your Pet of the Week, and this is Toy. She's absolutely gorgeous and soft and cuddly. And Toy is not living in a foster home right now. She's actually living at the Burtonsville Petco. So if you're nearby there, you could go in and visit her, or you could visit her on the web at mchumane.org and look under the foster care animals that we have, or give us a call at 240-773-5960 because Toy is looking for a new home.
Now let's visit Brookside Gardens, where our friends will teach us about repairing a damaged evergreen.
Hi, I'm Phil Normandy, Plant Collections Manager here at sunny Brookside Gardens in Wheaton, Maryland. Did your evergreens take a beating this winter? Ours did too, obviously. What to do? The interesting thing about this plant is it's not broken. There are no broken branches, nothing I'll have to cut off. But is this plant going to straighten up by itself? No, I think it's going to need some help. So there's 2 things I'm going to do with this plant. One is something that I use the term plant aerobics. I'm going to take the bent branches and exert pressure in exactly the opposite direction they're bent and hold it for a while, maybe a minute. And hopefully that will actually bend some of the wood back in place. And I'll do this several times, and I'll do it on all of the branches that are bent. Then it's not going to fix the plant, but I'm going to go back up in there with some rope, and I'm actually going to tie them together. And I'm going to leave them like that for a growing season or 2. New wood will be formed, which will correct the stressed wood, and hopefully these plants will stay upright.
With that, we close this edition of County Report this week. Remember to like us on Facebook and to join us again at this time every week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. We're going to leave you now with some sights and sounds from Takoma Park, where the Girl Scouts Council of the nation's Capital Service Unit 34-8 and the Historic Tacoma Society recently celebrated the 100th anniversary of the first Girl Scout troop in Takoma Park. In celebration of this event, some past and current Girl Scouts participated in games, singing, and of course, cookies, punch, and birthday cake. I'm Sonia Burke. Thank you for watching.